Hey everybody, I'm back. So is the Center for Political Innovation. Glad to be here. Now, the reason that we...
Is he seriously picking up this audio from the camera mic? Does he seriously not have a little lapel mic that he's talking into that he pulls the audio from so that we don't hear the roaring of the ocean and wind behind him over his own voice? Okay, maybe he really is a leftist, judging from the audio.
We've been silent for so long is because on August 19th, a document was published by some...
Those eyes look so painful. Yeah, he hasn't been spanked in a long time.
Former members of the CPI. Now, this document made some pretty outrageous claims about the nature of our organization.
Oh shit, he's fighting it!
It also exposed some deeply personal information about me. Now,
whoa!
Them about every detail of the organization to negotiate with me somehow. They had told them not to do it. Before they published this, the folks who put this document together went around to different media personalities, different associates, and person after person told them not to do it. They told them that this was not necessary, that they shouldn't publish this document. They didn't listen. They had...
What's weird about the colors? Oh yeah, guys. This whole video is color shifted to tune down his rosea, his red face. See? Everything in this shot is color shifted blue. Even this beige or possibly dark yellow jacket that he's wearing is downshifted to blue. It's all to pull the red out of his face. He still looks red. Well, he's the reddest thing in shot. Maybe he should have shot with more red in the background so that it wouldn't look so unnatural when he pulled the red down. Or maybe he could have worn something red and then tuned it all down so that it didn't look so... yeah, he's got blue hair.
Every opportunity to negotiate some kind of restorative justice, to try and get reforms inside the organization, to negotiate with me somehow. They didn't want to do that.
You think that's actually the reason? Yes.
To go public with this document. Why? Clout. They wanted to get more likes, more shares, more Facebook.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so for a reminder of how bad Caleb actually was, he like tricked people into traveling across the country to stay at a like dilapidated apartment that they shared in order to do like promotional work for Caleb Maupin. And they were not allowed to get external jobs. They were only allowed to make their money as a fraction of the revenue from like selling buttons or some shit. And when they couldn't afford anything, one of the women, like an 18-year-old girl, turned to sex work and ended up like paying a fraction of her work to Caleb, literally pimping the girl out rather than just like paying for it himself. Some of the people had a dumpster dive for food. They were literally like, Caleb wouldn't give them more money or allow them to do work while remaining in the org. So they were like literally digging through dumpsters for food. He would also harass the women in his org to like spank him and do his like mommy dummy, like findom weird religious bullshit. Like he's an actual monster. He's an actual like subhuman piece of shit. Like he's monstrously bad. Yeah. So I guess this is the only route he can really take, right?
Views, more attention. And that's why I have waited so long to give an answer to this. I don't want to get into a social media back and forth with them about every detail of what they wrote. I'm going to answer this once and then never speak about this again. Now, often my live streams get very psychological. We talk about trauma and history and abuse and how it affects people. I apologize if you thought I was talking about this in a way that...
Didn't you talk to that guy with the beard? Yep, that very mentally ill guy who talked with Dylan and had to end his call because he was shouting the praise for Hitler in the alleyway outside the dilapidated house that he squats in, and his neighbors started, like, noticing.
That meant it didn't apply to me. It does apply to me. I do, like many of you, have abuse in my personal history, and it has affected me as an adult. I would have preferred to keep this private, but it is now all over the internet. Now, spanking isn't just my deep, dark personal secret. It's America's deep, dark secret. 19 U.S. states still allow for corporal punishment in public schools.
What?
There's not a day that goes by in Alabama or Mississippi or Texas that some school child isn't being struck with a heavy piece of wood by a teacher, someone who's supposed to be their caretaker. Now, studies show that corporal punishment is an ineffective and harmful way of raising a child. Furthermore, the way we practice corporal punishment in Anglo countries has a particularly sexual undertone to it. Pain is is inflicted on a specific part of the body. It often includes forced nudity and other humiliations. The United States needs to join.
Okay, I know there are schools in the U.S. that still will practice corporal punishment. I don't think often they'll strip the kid's ass naked beforehand. I don't know why he's relating his sexual kink to... Okay.
Join with 128 other countries.
Well. Premiere ended, Vaush refresh. Wait, does a premiere like kick you out of the video like that? Nope. Well, okay. Did it get removed or did he take it down? I assume that he removed it. I don't know. He learned your secret tactic from last stream. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you can still see it if you search the thing. See, it says the video is done now, but it has no views, and if you click on it, it says unavailable. So, okay. Well, I guess we got what we could. Oh, apparently High Progressive has a couple of clips that he took before it went down.
About cancel culture, but that's exactly what it was. This wasn't about justice. This wasn't about trying to get reforms in our organization. This was about inflicting pain. They wanted to humiliate me.
Doesn't he like
They
that?
wanted to give a piece of ammunition to those who don't like me that they could use to cyberbully me and make fun of me for years to come. And that is the reality. People who published this, how did anyone win here? All that came out of this was that CPI temporarily dissolved. I had to be silent for a couple months. And those who don't support Venezuela, Iran, Russia, or China got a new piece of information to ridicule all of us that are anti-imperialist with. How did I win? How did anyone...
Why would he say those who and then just show me for 10 seconds? Just say me.
They're still in pain. The libidinal rush they got from taking me down with this document went away after a couple weeks. They're still living at home. They're still full of resentment. They're still lonely. They're still angry. They're still frustrated. They're still depressed. They're still hopeless. They're still bitter, and they're still not going anywhere in this world. The idea that publishing this document and trying to take me down was going to make their lives better was an illusion. They're right back where they started.
Oh, that's cool. He's basically like, yeah, all the people who accused me of being a sex pest and a cultist were like, are losers, and you've done nothing to help them. It's kind of like he knows that he fucked them over, but he's like, well, what did you even achieve? Moppin pinned a tweet with the video, even though it's... God. Moppin has shown screen caps of the accusations against Tahir, which took place at a CPI conference, meaning he did nothing about it until it was convenient to express. At least we know he's consistent with his character and principles. Apparently someone accused Infrared of raping them. Haas raped me when we met up at his hotel room at the CPI conference. And then we have your average Infrared fan, Mecha Tankie / Groiper. Sort of like the apex of the ideology there. No way of knowing if it's true, of course, but living at home as opposed to... I think they mean like their parents' home. Wacky stuff, lads. Well, I guess I'm glad. I was considering not even going up. I guess we got to see a little bit. Yeah. Whatever. Would you consider any Marxist-Leninist a Tankie? You know what? I think that anyone who calls themselves a Marxist-Leninist is at best ideologically incoherent, and at worst, yes. Marxism-Leninism isn't a real ideology. Marx wrote theory. Lenin wrote theory. Marxism-Leninism was a synthesized ideology that was promoted by Stalin's Russia as a way of creating a syncretic, state-oriented form of so-called leftism that he could use to ideologically control both his own country and their puppet states around the world, or wannabe puppet states. Seriously, like, if you take a look at the ideological, like, tenets of Marxism-Leninism, they're really inconsistent. They literally vary country to country, which is why you hear bullshit like Marxism-Leninism with Chinese characteristics, or with Vietnamese characteristics, or with Cuban characteristics, or with Russian. Oh, what they're saying is that there's not actually a Marxism-Leninism. It's just a state ideology. They're essentially saying Marxism-Leninism is a broad label that you just use alongside a state apparatus to justify the existence of that state. Was it Marxism-Leninism with Chinese characteristics when China deregulated its markets and opened free commerce districts with private ownership of capital? Yes. MLs will literally say, yeah, that's just Marxism-Leninism with Chinese characteristics. At which point, what the are we talking about? It doesn't mean anything. It's just a way of defending the state. So, yes, if somebody is sincerely an ML, like they actually hold that shit, then yeah, I'd call them a Tankie. They're just an autocrat with, a leftist veneer. They might, however, think of Marxism-Leninism as just like they like some elements of Soviet ideology, and there are some things the Soviet Union did that I think are defensible. In which case, like I would say they're misusing the terminology. Whatever. So is Sankara a Tankie? Well, I've done a research stream on Sankara, and I don't think so. So, isn't Leninism already pretty whack? Yes, I have plenty of problems with Leninism as well, but Marxism-Leninism is that much worse. If Marxist-Leninists are Tankies and Tankies are fascist, do you believe Castro and Che, etc. were fascist? This is your problem, Chess, and I love you, but let me explain, okay? You're too obsessed with labels right now. The problem is that labels fucking suck at telling you what a person actually believes because everybody has subtly or very different understandings of what labels actually mean, and people will place different priorities on what it is they actually practice. For example, the Black Panther Party was full of Maoists. The Black Panther Party spent their time doing really based shit. Did they spend their time, for example, starving 40 million Americans by practicing Lysenkoist agricultural policies? Did the Black Panther Party force a bunch of farmers in America to construct pig iron rather than raise crops and therefore lead to mass starvation? No. So when the Black Panther Party calls themselves Maoist, what do they actually mean? What are they referring to? Well, in their case, they were referring largely to organizational and revolutionary structures. Whereas in the case of regular people who call themselves Maoists, I interpret that as a defense of Mao, like as a leader, who is a horrible fucking leader. Good revolutionary, terrible leader. So these terms mean different things depending on who's using them and why. Castro did a lot of stuff that I horribly disagree with, but overall, man did some pretty impressive stuff. I can't take that away from him, Sankara did a ton of really cool stuff, but a lot of the terms that he used and the people he associated with, I disagree with today. In reality, labels are just an effective way of understanding people's positions on aggregate. They're a good way of broadly describing movements, tendencies, beliefs, ideologies, positions, but things really break down when you're like trying to assign all of these values in a very prescriptive way, especially when you're crossing levels of power and time. So, for example, Abraham Lincoln was a white nationalist. Did you know that? Abraham Lincoln had doubts that white and black Americans could ever really get along, and for a time promoted and was supportive of, or at the very least interested in, a planet shipping former slaves, after they had been freed, to Liberia. However, do you think that it would be fair to describe Abraham Lincoln and somebody like Tucker Carlson in the same breath then? Well, if Tucker Carlson's a white nationalist and Abraham Lincoln wanted a white-only America, does that mean they're both the same? Well, obviously not. But that's the problem when you try to use labels to as catch-all prescriptive gotchas, as opposed to understanding the underlying nuance behind these descriptions. Don't worry too much about labels, Can you rate Lenin then as a revolutionary versus a leader? Yeah, the problem with Lenin is that a lot of his writings were pretty good before he became, premier, and he was a great revolutionary, and then he attained power and instantly became a huge piece of shit. Power corrupts. That's why the Vanguard Party. Hey guys, what if we had a socialist revolution that was led by a group of people with different material interests than the proletariat? It's not as though Marxism teaches us that people with different material interests from the proletariat will ever, through, a dialectical process, arrive at different self-interested policy positions than the proletariat might, right? No chance of that. Hey, by the way, I'm going to kill all these anarchists and disband all the workers' councils for funsies, okay? Yeah. Thoughts on the Green Party? The Green Party. They don't do shit. Third parties are a waste of time, and all those people end up being like third-party wedges that exist purely to end up serving the interests of the right. Isn't it crazy how the Libertarian Party served the interests of the right, and then the Green Party also serves the interests of the right? These people. If they actually gave a shit about, like, democratic rights, they would be promotional groups for non-first-past-the-post voting. To be fair, Libertarians f***ed over the GOP in 2020. I guess to an extent, though a good portion of the Libertarian Party now has been pretty well bought out by fascists, right? Some of the larger Libertarian accounts basically just post the same shit that you see from Republicans these days. I don't really... Nah. Yeah, the Mises Caucus, yeah. Saki with the $10. The Spanky Tankie blue shifting his video to hide how red his fascism has become is too funny. Yeah, it's just... I don't know why he wouldn't... Man, he's a wacky dude. Caleb Maupin took down the pinned tweet about his return, and then he repinned the old tweet that he had about how he's not Russian state-affiliated media, except he couldn't find the original tweet saying he wasn't state-affiliated media, because this one is from September 19th, when the original tweet was from months before that. So he's pinned this 9-like... I just want to know why he removed the video, or privated it, or whatever. Wait, oh wait, oh, I'm sorry, this isn't Caleb Maupin. I'm dumb, I'm sorry, it's real Caleb Maupin. No, real Caleb Maupin is another fake one, which is his actual fucking Twitter. Wait, I'm sorry, fake news. What is his actual fucking Twitter? Wait, where is it? He probably has you blocked? No, he doesn't. I don't see him. Wait, it is real Caleb Maupin? Wait, this is it? The other one has an I instead of an L? Oh, okay. Here, okay. Wait, did he lose his old account? Joined September 2022. Wait, what? Where is his old account? He got banned? For what? What did he say? Oh, from 2 minutes ago, I'm re-uploading the relaunch video, Hold Your Horses. I wonder what he edited out. He deleted, somebody yoinked it. Oh, Constance took it. Gotcha. Nice.